What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today what I have for you guys is some coverage of the two teasers that Treyarch shared today over on Twitter, and I'll also be going into some detail about the DLC4 that I wanted to address from the other day. But earlier this morning, Treyarch changed their profile picture to this. It's actually the Ascension group logo, as pointed out by the Great Zombies community, and the word below the image also translates to Ascension. So it's great to hear that we are going to get more coverage about how the Ascension group was involved with Siberia and its experiments. We don't know much about the group itself, and it also supports the theory that that radio we heard the other day could be the voice of Harvey Yena and not Gersh. Obviously, we know that Nolan North does the voice of Gersh from Black Ops 3 and even from before, all the way back in Black Ops 1 Ascension, so, you know, it could sound similar to Gersh. If we have Harvey Yena's voice also voiced by Nolan North, it'll sound similar, but I do think to save budget and time, they just had Nolan North record that while he was in the studio. So Harvey Yena might sound similar to Gersh, but it's still a completely different character, someone we don't know much about, and has been a character that was referenced all the way back in Black Ops 1, but we just didn't have much coverage of him. We haven't heard much from him, nor have we seen him in game before. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to really flesh out his character one last time within the DLC4 remake tagged their Toten. And since Gersh kind of got an end to his character arc in Gorod Krovi, I don't think they'll cover much about him in this map, because at the time in the 1940s, Gersh wasn't even a part of the Ascension group yet. So I think they'll probably reference him a little bit, maybe somehow, you know, in regards to the Ascension group and him joining later, but I don't think they'll cover much of his character arc at this point in time. It'll be more focused on the other members of the Ascension group, and specifically Harvey Yena as well. But Treyarch also tweeted out this picture of what appears to be blueprints for a new version of the Thunder Gun. So last time we saw the Thunder Gun was really back in Zombies Chronicles when they brought it back for Keener the Toten, Ascension, and before that it was in Revelation, so we've seen it quite a bit on current gen platforms, but I'm not opposed to a new version of it. Look in the bottom right corner, we can see the Ascension group logo, so clearly they're sticking with some lore behind the Ascension group and the wonder weapons they worked on, so whatever it is they worked on will probably be featured here in this map. But also keep in mind, it's a Call of the Dead remake, so without a doubt we'll be seeing a new version of the Scavenger and the VR11. Now whether or not that's Elemental is currently unknown. We've heard whispers from unverified sources that we could be seeing Elemental Scavengers on this map. However, I think when it comes to a new version of the Scavenger, it makes more sense to make it like the Alistair's Foley from Dead of the Night, where it's one wonder weapon, but you can add modifications for it via a side quest to buff it up and make it better. So you could have 2 or 3 versions of the Scavenger in this Call of the Dead remake, but not necessarily Elemental versions, if that makes sense. And I also don't doubt that we'll be seeing the VR11 come back in some way, shape, or form, either for the Easter egg or just as a fun wonder weapon, bit of a callback to the original here in Tagged or Toten, but they'll probably buff it in a different way to make it a lot more overpowered, a lot more useful if you have it in your inventory, either as your mule kick weapon or just one of your main weapons. So expect to see that, but again, when it comes to verified sources and reliable leakers, you know, it's been really kept under wraps as to what wonder weapons will be featured here in Tagged or Toten. However, my good buddy Eric the other day in my recent video came on with me and broke down every leaked achievement for Tagged or Toten, and he brought up that in the original Call of the Dead, there was actually a cut Easter egg or a cut mechanic where you'd have a robot very similar to Rushmore from Alpha Omega, and the robot would act as a wonder weapon dispenser. So as a reminder, I'm going to play the audio for you guys right now.
Activated. Deactivated. Weapon unavailable. Awaiting authorization. Error. Max allotment of 2 weapons reached. VR11, Scavenger, Wunderwaffe DG2, Gersh Device, Winter's Howl, Thunder Gun, Matryoshka Doll, Monkey Bomb.
So my original theory was that this could have been some type of cut super Easter egg back in Black Ops 1, to where once you did every single main Easter egg in every zombie map, not only would you be able to do the Big Bang Theory on Moon, but you would also unlock this wonder weapon dispenser on all zombie maps, so you can use any wonder weapon you want on any map, including monkey bombs, including the Russian Matryoshka dolls. Would have been cool to see, but I'm not sure if this was exclusive to just Call of the Dead, or if it was a cut super Easter egg for all zombie maps. But for all we know, they could have still had this idea in mind mind when they were making Tag or Toten. It could have actually included this in the new Call of the Dead remake, and we could actually see a Wonder Weapon dispenser of all classic Black Ops 1 Wonder Weapons. So you can see the Wonder Waffle, the Thunder Gun, Scavenger, VR11, Matryoshka dolls, monkeys, and maybe even something else. We just don't know. It could even be the Mark II, even though it wouldn't make sense for the time the map takes place in, but we could see anything when it comes to this map. But without a doubt, I don't think they'll do a Call of the Dead remake without bringing back the Scavenger or VR11 in some way, shape, or form. But I also wanted to address the idea of Victus Chronicles being leaked by a Nikolai voice actor. So a couple of days ago I made a video, and I even addressed this again in my previous video. There was a Nikolai voice actor who actually dubs the lines in different country. I believe he dubs the lines in Portuguese, and a Brazilian YouTuber by the name of DGN actually interviewed this voice actor and asked him a couple of questions, and one of the responses this voice actor actually gave DGN was very particular and very cryptic, and honestly, when you debunk what he actually was talking about, it sounds like he was referencing Nikolai returning in a new form to guide a different crew in a future map. Wasn't referencing Tag or Toten at all. Seemed like he was referencing DLC4, but didn't want to say any more because he's under contract and obviously can't share any spoilers for the future of Ether. And I made a video about it because it was worth sharing that, hey, you could have been referencing something that's not DLC4, but instead is a plot line for DLC5. We have every reason to do that. I'm a news channel. I cover every single little bit of Treyarch Zombies when it comes to tutorials, Easter eggs, leaks, news, official releases. I cover everything, and I do it in a respectful way so that hopefully nobody gets in trouble when I cover these leaks or when I cover some speculation about what the community thinks that voice actor meant. All of a sudden, the Brazilian community, goes ham. They take down that interview. They force DGN to remove the video. It gets privated. Luckily, I saved it. I have a mega link to it down below in the description if you want to check it out, if you guys understand Portuguese. And actually, I saved the video just in case if we ever needed to see it again. But the Brazilian community was very upset about this. Apparently, the actual voice actor got in trouble with Activision for saying something he shouldn't have. But here's my point, right? If I made a video talking about the voice actor potentially spoiling DLC5, if there is no DLC5 coming, Activision wouldn't have got that voice actor in trouble. It's that simple. But the fact that he got in trouble just means that his words held some weight. He said something he shouldn't have, but it's not my fault that I covered it in a video to where he then got in trouble. He would have got in trouble regardless if I made a video or not, even though the interview itself only got like 800 views and my video got, I think, 10,000. Even though I made a video about it that did pretty well on YouTube, it doesn't mean that it's my fault that the voice actor got in trouble. If he slipped up, or if the Brazilian YouTuber known as DGN made a video, it's on them. It's their mistake for him getting in trouble. It's not that I made a video and got in trouble. I'm just covering the news. But the funny thing is that people believe in the Brazilian community that because I made a video, all of a sudden it's my fault that he got in trouble. If somebody breaks an NDA contract, that's on them and that's their mistake. DGN himself interviewed the voice actor. He asked the question, which kind of led to a response, kind of hinting at some future content. That's on them for making that mistake, and it's totally fine. Luckily, he didn't get fired, but it's not because of my video that all of a sudden got this guy in trouble. And the thing is, they're all using this excuse like, oh, it's because it was clickbait and, Activision probably saw it. It's not clickbait if we know for 100% fact DLC5 is happening. We have reliable leaks from reliable ass sources who've literally leaked the entirety of Black Ops 4's DLC season and Modern Warfare 2019, who are actually saying that yes, a Victus Chronicles is coming with heavy remakes for Transit, Die Rise, and Barry. That's coming from really reliable sources, so we know it's happening. So when he says something that really sounds like a plotline for a Victus Chronicles DLC5, we have every right to make a video and talk about how his words could have been speculating or referencing something that isn't in DLC4 but instead is for a DLC5. We have every right to do that, and we aren't harming the guy's job. We aren't putting him in jeopardy. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Check all links down below in the description. What do you guys think about the teasers earlier on Twitter, the new profile picture, the Ascension group? Do you guys think we'll see Harvey Yena on the actual map as a character model? And do you guys think that the new Thunder Gun is supposed to be an ice variant of the Thunder Gun? Because the image on it looks kind of grayed out in certain areas, but that could actually be ice, and maybe it'll have an effect similar to the ice staff from Origins. Not too sure how that can be handled, but we also have an achievement that has to involve you freezing 10 zombies on the map, but that could just be done by standing in the water long enough with the zombies. But maybe you can also do this with an ice variant of the Thunder Gun. That'll be great to see. But do you also think the Scavenger and VR11 will be making a return later in the map? That is about it, and peace out, everyone.